Hey, I'm Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in Trailblazer, the John Muir Trail. I was intrigued by this game both because art by Andrew Bosley. I love working with Andrew on games like Tapestry. I love his art on Everdell. He did the art for this game. And last year I went to Yosemite, and so I didn't see this exact view, but I saw some views not entirely unlike this view, and I was very curious. I was on the John Muir Trail for a little bit there during one of our longer hikes. So I wanted to check out this game. I backed it on Kickstarter, and I had a lot of fun with it. Like it's a really nice thematic Euro game with some great mechanisms. And one that I want to highlight today is that one of the things that you'll be doing over the course of the game is gathering items, equipment. I'll call them items. They could be either of those terms could work. They're hexagonal tokens and icons, and each player has the same 12 tokens. And they can gain them over the course of the game to fill up their backpack. So you start out with no items, and then you fill up your backpack over the course of the game. The game makes it pretty easy to gain these items because at the beginning of every round, there are 12 rounds, you'll draw a card from the top of the deck, and from that card and the cards in your hand, you get to play one of them. And one of the things that you typically gain on these cards is an item. There are other ways to gain items in the game as well, from looking at vistas to gathering wildlife or looking at wildlife. Many ways to gain this equipment. I didn't quite fill up my board. I think I was one off in my first game for filling off the board, but I came pretty close, and it wasn't that hard to do so. But, and this is the neat little twist, because it is satisfying to do this. You're getting kind of a row bonuses here, and they enable you to do better in the hike, and some of the things that you need to do in the game require you to have specific items. All that's great. I like that the game makes it easy to get these items. The twist is that the game not only makes it easy and appealing to get new items, but it also makes it not quite as easy, but also appealing to get duplicate items, which I think is great. Not every game does this. I'm sure some of my games have this mistake where you gather a thing and then you have that thing, and it doesn't do you any good when you get a copy of that thing. What this game does is when you have an item, so say I have a matchbook. I don't think that's one of the items, but if you have a matchbook, let's say that's an item, and you do an action that would get you another matchbook, instead of getting another item, because you only have one of these item tokens in the game, you instead advance on this track. So there's a completely separate track in the game, the elevation chart, that you get to advance on whenever you duplicate an item. And it isn't a throwaway track. This is a major track in the game that you need to pay attention to because you're gathering core resources from it when you reach certain points. You are getting an award if you're the first player to get there. You are getting more workers. This are how you get more workers in the game. They're called tracks in the game, but they aren't tracks. They're essentially worker tokens. There are also two ways. In fact, I'm not even showing the full track here. It goes longer than that. But this icon and that icon are endgame scoring bonuses and major endgame scoring bonuses that you can select from once you get there. So this track is a big deal. It is not a throwaway track. It is really, really important to advance on this track. And you do so by duplicating an item that you already have. So the game is giving you a reason to diversify, to get a bunch of different items to do different things, and because it's good to fill up your backpack, and also use sometimes duplicate items. Many times do that. In fact, I would say it was more appealing in our game to duplicate an item than to get an item that we don't already have. I thought that was a really, really great twist to the game design, something I didn't expect and something that was satisfying and added to the puzzle throughout the game. And the decision space. At this moment right now, do I want to choose this vista that gives me a new item that I don't have, or this other vista that I have the resources for that I already have the item icon for, and I get to duplicate it and advance on this track. Great decision space there. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you have played Trailblazer, the John Muir Trail. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Or if you can think of another mechanism in another game that is similar to this mechanism, let me know in the comments below as well. Thanks.